Yay.
Yay. As you would all know, or you would if you'd heard the first one, I was a doppelganger this weekend. A doppelganger is a creature that takes the shape of a person and pretends to be them. And so forth, like tries to pass off being that person and like causing pain to their loved ones, basically. Doppelgangers are mean and mischievous, and my basic goal was told to me by the plot team is you want them to believe that you're Tawney, you want to leave the Fey realm, you want to never rescue the real Tawney. So that's, that was kind of my direction, right? My character's name is Tawney. So dressed as my character, for all intents and purposes, having registered as a player rather than an NPC and all that stuff, like they all think I'm playing Tawney. Everybody else thinks I'm playing Tawney. I'm in this cage, and they come and rescue us, like me and a couple of other players who are in this like trapped in this cage, who know Tawney and who are like, oh, poor Tawney, we've come to rescue you. It's okay, you're gonna be fine. And I'm just acting all traumatized, like, the Winter Court, they did horrible things to me. Like stuff like that. And like, oh, it's okay, pat, like you're gonna be fine, because Tawny's a little cream puff that like is too sweet and innocent and naive for this universe. Like, she just like real Tawny is absolutely sort of a little bit pathetic. Let's be real. Anyway, so they rescue us from this cage and they bring us to like the central area where everybody's beds are and what have you. And we're sitting, getting our stuff set up and sitting around in this main like hall room. That is sort of going to be our hub for the foreseeable LARP game. And people are, coming up and being like, Tawney, I'm so glad you're safe. And I'm going like, what's your name? And they're like, what? You don't know my name? And I'm like, the Fae have been playing tricks on me. They've been pretending to be my friends when they're not really my friends. And they don't know their names. So if you know your name, the real name that you use, then I know it's really you. And people are like, oh yeah, of course, I'm, whatever the fuck. I'm Urslak, I'm Grunt, I'm Adeline, I'm Thelonious, so forth. That kind of stuff. Where, like, the doppelganger doesn't know who these people are, right? Like, the doppelganger just wants to pretend to be Tawney. So to get people's names, I, like, pretended that doppelgangers have been screwing with actual Tawney. Like, I gave away my game in the first, like, 3 sentences that I said, to be honest. But, like, that's not obvious at all, of course. So I get handed my stuff back. Like, Tawney's stuff. So Adeline had been taking care... Adeline's my high elf friend. Had been taking care of Tawney's stuff. And when I showed up, handed it back to me and said, like, here's your stuff, Tawney. I've been, taking care of it. Like, all your alchemy is in there, and your pet and stuff is in there. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So I take the bag and I root through it, looking at all the stuff. And I have all of Tawney's skills. So this doppelganger is an alchemist to the level that Tawney is, and so forth. Like, I can identify things. I know what stuff is. So on. So I'm looking through all this stuff, and I catalog everything that's in the bag, because, again, the doppelganger doesn't know what this stuff is. So, like, finding Inky, I, like, show someone, I'm like, wow, this thing's really cool. What the heck is this? And I'm like showing people, like, pretending I don't know what it is, because I don't know what it is. As a doppelganger, real Tawney would be like, yay, my beloved pet, and, like, hug the jar. But fake Tawney is like, the fuck? Like, puts it back in there. And going through my alchemy, I find one very deadly alchemy. Slow death alchemy in a gas globe. So this is a globe of poison that I can throw at someone, and 60 seconds later, they die. It's pretty nasty. It's a pretty nasty piece of alchemy that Tawney traded for, like, 2 games ago, because she didn't want anybody else to have it. So I found this dangerous gas globe. And I'm reading through my bag, and Urslak comes up, one of my orc friends comes up and is like, "I'm so glad you're safe, Tawney." You know, like pet, pet, pet. You know, and I go, "Have you seen this? Look at this. It's a death alchemy gas globe. It'll kill someone. I throw this at someone, it'll kill them. You know what? The next person who annoys us, I'm gonna throw this at them." And Urslak's like, "Well, you should save it for the bad guys. You know, you should save it for the mean people and the enemies. But I think it's a good idea. You know, like keep it handy. It might be useful, kind of thing." I'm like, yeah, I'll throw this death alchemy at them. You know, and anybody who knows Tawney knows how stupid, how silly this sounds, because I mean, I'm trying to roleplay like myself, but not myself, and the real Tawney would never kill anything. She is an ardent pacifist, you know, when it comes to like lethality, especially. Like, she'll happily sort of like paralyze someone if they're like, you know, gonna attack her friend or whatever, but she doesn't ever kill anything. She never does. Ever. I have never once killing blowed a creature as Tawney. Except maybe a brood, but that was life or death. So, yeah, I mean Tawney is an ardent pacifist. So hearing these words should include some people in. And yeah, I mean, I think some people were starting to be like, what? You know, like, I don't really understand what's happening here. Sort of thing, but it wasn't, they weren't sold on it yet, so to speak. And I did this kind of thing throughout the game, right? I did this thing throughout the game where I was doing and saying things that Tawney would never do or say, you know? Somebody, I think it was Grunt, who's another one of my orc friends. There's a fair number of orcs. One of my orc friends came up and was like, Hey, Tawney, how many naps you taking today? And I literally said, and I quote, "Who the fuck naps during the day? That's stupid." I said that. I'm surprised I wasn't killed, like, right there. Like, at all. But I kept sort of reporting back what I'd said and what I'd done and so forth to Plot Camp. Oh, another really hilarious thing is that when I arrived, Grunt traded an iron dagger to this very strong Furbolg, and Furbolg are like cavemen. They're like, me dumb, me stupid, you know, like, talk weird, but sort of wise sometime, you know, kind of characters. They're strong, and they're tough, and they're a little dumb. And he traded this iron dagger to a Furbolg to keep me safe. He literally said, "Protect Tawney." I was like, holy shit, you just gave me like a carte blanche, like I could start killing people and this Furbolg would help me. You just told him to protect me and you gave him something in trade. That means he will do it. Like, holy fuck. Like, I was put in this like position of like immediate power as this fake Tawney, you know? I could have just started throwing my spells and killed people. But so anyway, I went back to Plot Camp a whole bunch of times and sort of reported what I was doing, because I was an NPC, so it was important for me to report in and like make sure they knew what was happening with me and what they wanted me to do and so forth. And I was like, they don't seem to really be getting it. Maybe they are, but they haven't given me any sort of inkling that they understand that I'm a different person or that there's something suspicious going on. And Plot's like, well, just keep going. Just get progressively more weird, you know? Just, like, keep doing stuff that will 100% out you. Because we want you to get outed at some point. Like, we don't want this doppelganger to survive, you know? And I was like, all right, yeah, okay, cool. So, I went back up to the main area where everybody was, and I was like, you want to see something cool? And the orcs who were sleeping nearby to me were like, yeah, 100%, definitely want to see something cool. And I went, here, look at this. You want to arm wrestle? And the orc was like, are you sure, Tawny? Are you sure? I'm like, yeah. So, start arm wrestling with this orc, you know, like, holding on. And they go, with +1 strength, I push, which is like, you know, they're stronger than me. They're going to push away. And I go, with +2 strength, I push. And I push all the way back down. And I beat the orc at arm wrestling. Tawny beats an orc at arm wrestling. And they're like, whoa, holy crap, Tawny, you're strong. And I went around and I did this with like 5 or 6 different people, like right away. I was like, look at this. I'm strong now. Arm wrestle, you know? And then like people were like asking if I'd been enchanted or whatever. But like doppelgangers are just naturally at +2 strength. Like they're stronger than people. The other really scary thing about doppelgangers is they have a magic threshold. And a magic threshold basically means that normal or silver weapons will not hurt me, no matter what damage you do. 7,000 silver will not hurt me. You know, like, a magic threshold means magic weapons will hurt me, and I had an iron vulnerability, so iron weapons would hurt me. So you know, that's the thing. So I started getting into combats. Like, I would, instead of the usual Tawny thing, which is like hang around at the back and feed people potions, I left my potions behind entirely under my bed and went and struck things with a silver stick, you know, swinging for 3s instead of 1s, you know, another very distinct problem with what I was doing. And I'm getting in fights and things are hitting me, like these bandits or whatever, or like Fae things are like hitting me for like 6 normal, and I'm just calling no effect. They hit me and I go, no effect, block, no effect, block, no effect, you know, as things like hit my flesh. It basically looks like the swords are bouncing off of me, you know, like, and I think they were suspicious, and people were definitely talking, and they thought maybe I'd, like, taken a demon deal or, like, something, you know? But they didn't do anything yet.